Support for Wrong About Everything comes from Minnesota's credit unions. Credit unions are locally based, member-owned financial cooperatives that return earnings to members through higher savings rates, lower loan rates, and reduced fees. Visit mncun.org for more information.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Wrong About Everything podcast. I am GOP strategist and just a knucklehead who gets wrapped up in all the rhetoric, Brian McDaniel.
I am Democratic strategist and the Puerto Rican heat, Javier Murillo. And we are
Wrong about everything. But you know what we're not wrong about?
What?
Who we have in studio with us
because
today.
Amy's not here today.
Amy's off being bougie.
Amy's off. Why is she in London?
The Vikings are playing this weekend.
So she just went there for the Vikings football team is playing
the Minnesota Vikings. Yes,
they don't watch American football over there.
Oh yeah, they do.
Oh,
big
right.
markets. Big well, remember when I went last year? I went to go watch the Cubs play baseball.
All right.
Yeah,
okay.
No,
well, we have a dare I say better lady.
No, you may not dare. No, you won't. I'll be damned. Not today, Jesus.
Yeah,
you surely will not.
You can say that,
baby, because I'm sitting in the Queen's chair. I'm not even letting my butt touch the chair. I'm just like squatting. Yeah. If this is the Queen's chair, I do not want my butt to touch it.
But we our special guest today is somebody who
you guessed it.
Is someone that we have talked about. We have talked about on the program.
Yes, the person responsible for Brian McDaniel for the rest of his life having an Emmy to brag about.
Award-winning podcaster.
Oh
you have
I have
to
such
say
a bone
that.
to pick with you, Sheletta.
You have to say that. You have to say Emmy award-winning podcaster because that is an accurate title. So for the rest of the duration of this show, when anybody introduces him or when he introduces himself, he must say Emmy award-winning podcaster Brian McDaniel.
Well, but he didn't win the Emmy for podcasting.
It doesn't matter what you win the Emmy for. He is an Emmy award-winning podcaster.
Yes, and listen,
he is a producer.
So yesterday I was meeting with a client, and that client is from India, and I told him that I won an Emmy, and he said that Bollywood is always looking for Emmy winners to attach to their movies.
So they can say Emmy award-winning
producer.
Yes.
And I said, you have to make that happen.
Make it happen, baby. Make it by any means necessary.
I'm going to bring you guys with me.
By any means. Don't you leave me behind. Don't you? We are a
love
team.
it.
We are a team. So
wait, I want in on this. We're just going to cut Amy out.
Oh yeah. She had to sit there and watch it.
McDaniel, Murillo, Brundidge,
but you could just say
Murillo.
Sheletta.
Yeah, Sheletta.
Well, you could just say Sheletta.
Sheletta, before we kind of get into everything, why don't you for the four people out there
who don't know who you are.
Three.
Tell everybody who you are and what you do.
So my name is Sheletta Brundidge. Hey y'all. I am an Emmy award-winning podcaster, broadcaster, Star Tribune columnist, children's book author. I do a little bit of everything because, as a Black woman in media, I cannot depend on my check coming from one source. So we have a whole bunch of different streams of income coming to the bank to make one big giant pool of money. So that's how we roll. And I do Almanac. A lot of people will know me from Almanac.
That's I think
where you
I
guys
saw you.
are, as well as WCCO Radio. But I have my
when you're on Fridays,
Saturdays with Chad, and then Fridays with Chad, and then I have my own show on Saturdays from 12 to 3.
Yeah.
And Miss Sheletta is so generous with her activities because not only is she solely responsible for making me the Emmy award-winning podcaster Brian McDaniel.
We will never forgive you for that. Never.
But she gives me time on her radio show. We did Black Entrepreneurs Day together a couple different years. Yeah.
Wow, you're helping this white man out a lot.
It's part of his reparations package. He didn't get his 48 acres.
He's getting an Emmy out of your reparations?
Man,
we would vote yes if everyone knew they got an Emmy for it.
You know what? Let me tell you what I do. I reward loyalty.
Yeah.
You know, I really believe in people that support me. I support them back. And 2 years ago, the government, the Minnesota state government, had a $17 billion surplus, right? And Steve Grove was over at D. This was before he was the publisher of the Star Tribune. And I was at a Black business owners event. It was Comcast sponsored it. And so I was on a panel with Steve Grove and Nancy Corsa and Damon Jenkins from First Independent Bank. And Steve Grove said to a room full of Black business owners, Minnesota has a $17 billion surplus. So you all you Black business owners, I want you to call your legislator and tell them that you want them to earmark some of that money for Black businesses. And I was like, dude, back the train up all the way to the station. You just said B with $1 billion to Black business owners who are trying to make $1 out of 15 cents. We're not calling anybody. We're going there. And he was like, well, what are you talking about? I said, we're going to have like a Black Entrepreneurs Day at the Capitol or something. And he was like, oh, Sheletta, that's so funny. And so I left there, called Brian McDaniel. I had never talked to Brian on the phone. We were not friends. We had seen each other in the hallway at Almanac, just kind of in passing. But I was like, I need somebody in politics that I trust, that I've seen, that I've watched, that's steady. You know, we don't have the same philosophies on politics. He's on one side, I'm on the other side. But, truth is truth, light is light, and people are people. And so I said, listen, I want to have this event at the Capitol. I haven't been to the Capitol since my children took a field trip. I don't go down there. I don't fool with them people. But I want to have this event and invite hundreds of Black business owners to come and lobby for themselves to get this money. And so Brian said, okay, so here's what you need to do. And so he gave me this list of things to do. He met me ahead of time. He was there for the day of the event and helped me organize this thing. It was safe. It was well attended. It was productive. And Governor Tim Walz, there's several stories where he said some of the concerns he heard from Black entrepreneurs on that day gave him the information he needed so that he could, earmark funding, loans, and some other infrastructure to help small businesses owned by Black and brown people. And so that was last year. We did it again this year. And Brian was right there by my side. And so the first year I did it, I didn't realize that you could win an Emmy for community events. I did not know that. Is that Shannon Watson? Hey, Shannon Watson, do y'all people stuff scroll up so we can say hi to the people? Yep. Okay, make sure the stuff is scrolling up so we can say hi to the people because I like to say hi to the people. Hey, Shannon, what's up, girl? Okay, so I didn't know you could win an Emmy for community events. Like I didn't realize that the video that we shot and produced and put on social media will qualify us to win an Emmy. And I was like, oh. Okay, so I got with my production team because ShelettaMakesMeLaugh.com, the company that I own, 4 years old, is a full-service production company, right? And so I said, we are doing this, and we want to win an Emmy. So we had our photographers. We partnered with Care 11. They streamed it live. And then we nominated for several Emmys, right? And so we're up for 5 awards on October 19th. But the Emmy governing board, out of all the entries, picks just one. And it's called the Governor's Award. And it is the one that is the most outstanding community service of anything that was broadcast. And they said they unanimously picked Black Entrepreneurs Day at the Capitol.
Yeah.
And so Brian's a producer. I'm big boss lady. And, we got another slew of producers and writers. But this whole thing, it probably would have happened without him. But it wouldn't have been as successful, as organized, or as well attended as it was. He not only gave me his time, he gave me his resources. Hilden Advocacy and Law provided a scholarship for a Black business owner. Some of his staff members were there to help work the table. And then once we did it the first time, because it had never been done before, like Black business owners don't have a lobbyist, and they had never come in droves to the Capitol. So nobody had ever been accountable to what you're doing for Black businesses, right? Because they weren't there. Right. And so, nobody knew what we were doing. They didn't know if we were protesting or we were coming with light and love. They were scared. They were very scared. I would imagine. But shout out to Governor Tim Walz for coming. Carrie Dietzig for making him come. God bless her, that woman, I tell you. She tricked him. she told him, I don't know if I've told this story. She told him that she wanted to set up a meeting with him. And so she went over to his office and she said, okay, there's no meeting. I want you to come over with me to Sheletta's thing.
No, you did not tell me. That's how we got him.
So that's how we got. And once everybody saw he was there, then they came.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so wait, I have a lot of questions for you.
Okay,
but you will respect this because we have to pay some bills.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, Sheletta, I want to welcome you to the Minnesota Credit Union Network Studios, deep within the recesses of MBC Studios here in Northeast Minneapolis. We have our fantastic producer, Gabe Noah, who has been straight up tortured by the two of you today.
Usually it's just me.
He has earned that.
Yeah,
usually it's just me.
So anyway, so we always, you asked earlier if we had any sponsors. So the Minnesota Credit Union Network. So all the credit unions band together and they sponsor this podcast, and we are very, very, very happy for that.
You know what? Credit unions have been really good to communities of color.
Yes,
when we
100%.
cannot go to a bank, when we cannot get a loan for our business, when we are trying to figure out how we're going to put our kids in college and their first generation college kids, credit unions have been our friends.
That's right.
So I'm glad y'all got y'all sponsored.
Yeah, they're fantastic. In fact, Amy and I were with the Tranche Master General himself, Ryan Smith, on Monday, and they are continuing their sponsorships. That's fantastic.
Well, hey, now, because it's time for everybody to re-up for 2025.
Yeah.
Now's the time.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Please also
and another sponsor.
Well, I was going to say also, please check out our podcast website, which is wrongaboutEverything-podcast.com, and please go to our YouTube channel and subscribe to that. That's something where we're moving more of our resources to the YouTube channel. We need more eyes on it there. And then our other fantastic sponsor are the good people at the law firm of Bradshaw and Bryant. Bradshaw and Bryant's entire team of attorneys and staff is dedicated to providing you with the legal service you need, combined with the service and personal attention you deserve. If you have questions about how they can assist you with a personal injury, wrongful death, or criminal defense matter, do not hesitate to contact them. Consultations are free. Please contact them at 800-770-7008 or at minnesotapersonalinjury.com. However, Sheletta, before you send all of your good friends to Bradshaw and Bryant, they will not represent snitches. Snitches.
So we had Mike Bryant on once.
Oh, really?
And we were just talking to him, and we said, and I forget how it came up. Someone said like, well, so if someone's an informant, and he said, I don't represent snitches.
Oh, I like him already. I like him.
That's a very good defense attorney.
Baby.
That's like his down the line.
Okay, all right. I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
But then last thing before we get to Javier's questions. What are we drinking?
Yeah,
you are drinking the Sheletta, the featured drink at the Minneapolis Club, the Castle on 2nd Avenue. It is.
Wait, that club?
Yeah, the White Man's Club. I'm a member.
You're a member?
I am a full-fledged member. A dues paying member.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I'm not provisional. This is not a trial.
I was invited to lunch there once, and then it turned out they were like at the end the person who invited me to lunch was like, so we're trying to diversify the membership.
I bet they are, because everybody's dying. You can only have an exclusive old white man's club for so long.
Right.
Maybe 50 years.
Yeah.
And after 50, 100 years,
we're getting there. We're getting there.
You got to
It's going to be like those churches in Minneapolis that are like the 9 a.m. mass is in English and the 11 in Spanish, and the 9 a.m. is like they're like 3 old
12 people. Yeah.
And then 11 a.m. it's teeming.
Right. So I was there with someone from Star Tribune having lunch, and I looked around. I was like, ain't nobody in here that look like me.
No, that's right.
So I was like, hey, excuse me, where are the black women? What black women do you have that are a member of this organization? And they kept him up. I was like, oh, so you don't have none. I was like, give me an application. I'm joining right now. And so upon filling out the application, one of the things that I saw was that you have to have 2 people to co-sign for you.
Oh.
Kind of like, your grandfather has to own land.
Right.
Or you have to take this reading test. And so I said, if I don't know anybody here, I don't have a cosigner. And I'm going to turn this application in without one. And I dare you, I double dog dare you to turn me down. And so, of course, I became a member. But see, this is what happened when you ever heard your grandmama say, "Don't write out a check that your behind can't cash."
Yeah.
So that's what I did. I wrote out a check, and
Right,
my
because
behind
then you had to
cannot
pay the
cash it.
dues.
Right. And so what had happened was, I was balling out. Like I was inviting everybody. Like, hey, meet me at the Minneapolis Club. So all my black friends, all my brown friends, all my Hmong friends, we were all going down there because I was trying to brown up the place. And then I got that first bill. And baby, we had ate and drank up $1,900 worth of food.
Oh my God!
I was like, okay, let's dial this back. Let's dial it.
I can't be solely charged with browning up the Minneapolis Club.
Okay, y'all gonna have to diversify this thing. But so I went to them and I said, listen, I cannot be the one lone ambassador that you have. Y'all gonna have to do better.
Yeah.
So I talked to them about doing a Black business owners happy hour. We called it a Sheletta Soiree down at the Minneapolis Club. And we had about 200 business owners.
Wow.
To come, and we had food and drinks, and they took tours, and some people joined. And the one thing that I explained to them, and I talked to a lot of people about this, is people are no longer coming to you. You have to go to them. You cannot expect people to walk into the doors of the Minneapolis Club or go and pick up the Star Tribune.
Not at the Minneapolis Club, because it's like it looks like
what
it is, a very exclusive place that only white people went to.
And some of the business owners who were there with me at the soiree, they said, I used to catch the bus across the street, and I always wondered what it looked like inside. And so that when I had to sit down with the president, I thought, I had to ask him, now, how many times have you gone to an event and tabled, set up a booth, sponsored something? Y'all are in this little enclosed area, and you expect people to come to you. You got to get out there and go where people are. You got to, and that's one thing that I like to say about ShelettaMakesMeLaugh.com is it is a podcasting platform that we use. It's podcasting is just what we do, but our goal is to provide help to people. So we move outside of the walls of the studio to get out into the community. And I'm telling you, you go out anywhere now and say something bad about me, somebody gonna hit you over the head with a bag of nickels, because I have given their grandmama a ham. I have an Easter basket to their nieces and nephews. I have helped their autistic child. I have made sure that they got access to resources for one thing or another, or make sure that their business got access to a loan of some kind that was forgivable. So you use this as just a platform and the vehicle to be a blessing to somebody else.
How long have you been working in Twin Cities media?
I was here at Hubbard High School from 2004 to 2010, and then I got fired, and then I went to Cincinnati and Houston, and then I came back in 2015 and got hired at CCO Radio, and I've been there ever since. So 2004 to I don't do math. 2004 to 2010, 2015 till now. What's that? I don't know. Add that up. Add that up. That sounds like one of my kids' fourth grade math questions. Sheletta lived in Minneapolis from 2004 to 2010. She left from 2011 to 2014. She came back in 2015 and is here to this day. How many years has Sheletta lived and worked in Minneapolis?
So you didn't grow up in Minnesota?
Houston.
No. Houston is my home. See, that's my picture right there. So this weekend I was in Houston. I have 3 children with autism, and my youngest son, Daniel, used to wander. And so one of the things that kept him safe inside the home were these interior combination door locks. So anytime a child across the country drowns, I go buy up a bunch of locks, and I go to that city, partner with the police department, and I pass out free locks. Because, $30 may not be a lot to us, right? But for somebody, it's a game changer, and that may prevent them from getting these locks. And, for the people who can't afford them, it raises awareness. So I've been to Boston.
And so what is the lock? How does the lock work? What does it do?
It's an interior combination door lock. So you know how some of the newer homes have combination locks on the outside?
Keypad on them.
Yeah.
It's a keypad on the inside.
Okay.
So when my autistic child tries to go out of the house, scroll up real quick. Scroll up. Okay, you see where I'm up. See where I'm pointing? See where my finger is? It's a keypad.
Okay.
And so you put a 6 to 10 digit code in there. And so that's on the inside of the house. And so if my child tries to go outside, he cannot get outside unless he knows that code. And so I had the child who would wander. Like we'd be in the house looking for him, and he'd be down the street, and I bringing him home. running toward a 6-lane highway.
Oh, geez.
Outside on the trampoline jumping and -8 degrees. And so children and autism, I think they said like 100 and something percent higher chance of drowning because of the elopement. That's what they call it. But it's just really wandering away from the house. It's just something that some kids with autism do. And so, these locks raise awareness. We give them away. We try to help people because I don't want a child to die. Right. I don't want a mother to have to bury her child. So, like I said, they're on Amazon, and I've partnered with Amazon a couple of times, but most of the times I just buy them myself. Or people donate locks. I think did you donate some locks? You better go donate some locks.
I will.
You pick, please. Yes.
Hit him up. He makes a lot of money off of Democratic trifectas.
Right. But get them locks.
Well, and just to kind of reiterate, this is the Sheletta show.
Yeah, I was going to say we ain't talking about nothing unless it's got something to do with me.
No, but one of the things I'm impressed with is that what you're doing isn't just for show. The Black Entrepreneurs Day was not just to say, hey, let's find a way to kind of elevate Sheletta's presence in the community, because what she did is she arranged mentors for the businesses that went to Black Entrepreneurs Day. That first year, I had 4 or 5, and one of them I'm still in contact with.
Yeah.
And so what she's really doing is she's really using her platform to benefit the people that most need it, who might not think that there is a place in government for them. Mm-hmm. And Javier, not to just I like to give you praise, Sheletta. I don't like to praise Javier, but Javier's done similar things too. I mean, with some of the people through SAU and other groups.
Well, this is the thing, Brian. We know that we have an obligation to our community. We have to do this work, because if we do not, then our people don't benefit. So what good is it if I go in the governor's office and get a forgive or belong for my business? Or what good is it if I go and lobby my legislator and then all of a sudden things are favorable for me? What about the other 200 business owners who are out there who need that help? And for me, I tell people all the time when they tell me silly stuff like, and I know, can we curse on this show?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Okay. I hate when people tell me silly stuff like, well, I'm the only Black person in the room. For me, Javier, that is not a flex. That lets me know that you are selfish, that you have been sitting up here getting fat, getting a check, while all these other Black people are out here and they are hungry. And that is wrong. So if you get in a room, you need to bring somebody else in the room with you. If you get an opportunity, somebody else ought to be benefiting from that. And so Javier and I understand that we have the weight of our community on us. And when we get something, it is in our nature. It is how we were taught. It is what we know to do, is to turn around and say, who else needs this? Who else can I help? How can I be a blessing?
But I think also what I see in how you operate, right, is that I think often when I talk to young people, I always tell this story about when I was in kindergarten. My teacher mispronounced my name,
Hey, Jenny, you helped my husband get an Emmy. Girl, we're going to turn up at the Emmy ceremony on October the 19th. Oh,
I want to be on the red carpet.
Oh, my God. Y'all don't even know. Okay.
We need to wear trains. We need to wear trains.
Oh, my God.
You need to have a fabulous train.
Oh, my God.
I know. I
got 3 outfit changes, and y'all don't even want to know. Oh, my God, Jenny. So what we are doing for the ceremony and how we're going to accept our award, I can't even tell y'all. I can't even tell Brian, because it is just going, I'm just say the roof is going to blow off the place. Smoke alarms going to go off. They're going to have to evacuate the building. When I'm done, nobody's going to want to come on the stage. Yeah, they call me the closer. So nobody's going to want to come on the stage.
I want Javier to finish the story, but how Sheletta told me first that this was a possibility, she called me up, and it was like a early Saturday morning or whatever it might have been. And she goes, what are you doing on October 19th? I checked my schedule. I'm like, well, I'm going to a football game down in Iowa. She's like, no, you're not.
Better cancel those plans.
Cancel those plans.
No, but I was going to say, Sheletta, is that I feel like the way I see you operate, that is, and I think to give yourself flowers along the lines of what Brian is saying, is that we are often taught to, when you are different, our system of education, even the best, even the people with the best intentions, teach people that being different is less than, right? We say achievement gap.
Yeah.
We use all these terms that imply powerlessness. And I was starting to say, like, when I talk to young people, I tell this story about when I was in kindergarten. I was fighting with my teacher all the time because she'd mispronounce my name. This was in an army base in Germany. She was like, she's mispronounced my name, and I would fight with her. And she called my mother in for parent-teacher conference to inform her that her son does not know how to pronounce his own name. And my mom was like, "What?" And so I enjoyed very much, watching my teacher learn that she had just lost an epic battle to a 5-year-old because my mom's like, "No, he's saying it right." But my mom would always say to me and my siblings, right, that like, you're not like, you speak 2 languages, like you have 2 cultures.
This matter.
And so I think often, young people talk a lot about young people, we all do, about microaggressions, moments in your, you probably but when I think of microaggressions, it's like the visual I get is like a cut. Like if it's like, and if you spend your day cataloging cuts, at the end of the day, you're bloody.
Oh my God. And you're exhausted.
And you also kind of, you can't help but become that thing that others like. But if instead what you were cataloging was in that moment when someone said something about your hair, or someone said something about like what country you come, whatever it is, that rather than it be a moment that I experienced a little cut, that was a moment when I knew better. I knew your reality and mine. It's you have this double disability to see, and I think it helps you act powerfully in the world, because the fact of the matter is that there aren't sometimes it's someone who's like, they're the only person in the room and they've been getting fat. Sometimes it's like they're feeling disempowered or like not, and so it is a rare thing to because there are not many Black women in media in Minnesota.
I know, and there's not really they're not allowing you to be as Black as you want to be.
Right. Well, so that's what I want to ask, because I sometimes like the other day I texted message Sheletta because a radio show that she's sometimes on said something that I thought was questionable. And I was like, and my thought was like, my God, because I think if you would have been there, you would have been like,
yeah. And what I said, you wait till I'm back on that.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, I'm gonna get him.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get him.
Well, so but in Minnesota, it took me a long time to figure this out, because when I first got to Minnesota, people would be like, you're so angry. I'm like, I'm not angry. I just in Minnesota, I say what I mean.
Yeah.
And it confuses people. Yeah. Because that's not
You're a little angry.
Yes. Well, at you.
We used to call it stabby.
Yeah.
Oh,
stabby. We don't do that as much anymore.
Yeah. Okay, so since you brought that up, let's talk about that debate, because Minnesotans don't get angry. They don't confront.
No, they
so
keep it
Tim
deep
Walz is on this debate last night with J.D. Vance, and people were saying, "Oh, he was too nice.
Mm-hmm.
He was just being himself." This is what Minnesotans do. When you are arguing with somebody in Minnesota, you're trying to debate with somebody in Minnesota, this is just the culture. And there's nothing, bad, wrong, or indifferent about it, but this is just what people do. We're not going to be screaming over your head. We're not going to be acting a fool. There's no chairs or tables going to be thrown. We're going to be respectful. We're going to let you say what you got to say, even if you're lying. And then we're going to say our point. Because we think that this is, what the truth is. This is our truth, and so we're going to say that, and then we're going to move on.
Now, one thing, what does Tim Walz have in common with the three of us?
What?
It's not from Minnesota.
That's true.
None of us are.
But he's from Upper Midwest.
Yeah. I think if we're talking about this, I think it matters and it doesn't. I mean, I think people in Minnesota were probably watching the debate much more than people in other areas, because we care much more about the vice president stuff. But I think what I saw was that they weren't letting Tim be Tim.
Oh, preach, brother. Did you hear me? Were you at my house last night? Did I give you keys?
But
first of all, they took his glasses off.
They took his glasses off, so his eyes were all bulgy, which is what mine would have had to be. But I mean,
they gave him contacts.
Which he was not comfortable in, clearly.
Yeah, if you listen,
and his hair was too short.
If you listen to Pod Save America,
he looked hungry.
Tim,
blink twice if you need help.
Yeah, he's lost a lot of weight. But Pod Save America went back and watched the gubernatorial debate at Farm Fest when he just really kind of got animated, got big, and they were really worried about that. They thought that was a bad debate performance. And I wonder if, like, his handlers, it seemed like he was overly packaged, that they gave him too much stuff to think about. You could almost see
that he was thinking about what to say.
That he was
next.
thinking about things to say.
Like, I gotta remember, I didn't say this, I didn't say that. Okay, let me say this. Is that I don't know if anybody else besides me said that she was gonna pick him. I mean, can we shout me out? Do y'all have some claps?
Oh no,
you said it too.
I not only I say it. I worked at an organization. We wrote a memo. Like, I work with national donors, progressive donors, and so there was this memo circulating amongst powerful people in DC. Like, I helped write that, my organization.
Come on, give it to me.
Yeah,
so I did an op-ed. And
I know
said,
you did. You did that was an important piece.
I said this is the reason that Kamala Harris is gonna pick Tim Walz. Not that Josh Shapiro is not a good candidate, but Tim Walz knows how to support Black women. And she's Gladys Knight. He's got to be a pip. She don't need somebody who gonna sneak up to the microphone and try to do a duet. This is not Ashford and Simpson.
And you said that before the news stories that said that when he showed up and he said, "I'll be at your." Josh Shapiro showed up and started trying to negotiate for how much power he'd have. And Tim Walz said, "I'm at your service."
What you need me to do?
Yeah.
What you need help with? And that is what. And I love that everybody was trying to tell me what the Black woman was thinking. And I'm like, you're a white guy. I'm a Black woman. I think I know better than you what she's thinking.
Actually, Sheletta.
And what you white guys don't understand is that Black women have not traditionally had that kind of support from a white man. And so when he showed up supporting this Black woman, to hell with them delegates in Pennsylvania. She was like, if I got to work with somebody for the next 4 years, we're going to let it ride on this dude from Minnesota.
Right.
So I got excited when they made the announcement that he was the pick, right? So I ran over to the house, right? Like, I'm going to get in. And so I was outside. I was like, hey, tell him Shaletta's outside. And the dude was like, who? I said, Sheletta, tell him Shaletta's outside. And so they rolled their eyes and they walked away. And they were like, you got to move your car, ma'am. You can't park on the street. I was like, this is Sheletta. This is me. I'm outside. And then when I looked at the guy, he had this American flag pen on. And I said, oh, these are not a Minnesota state troopers.
They're about to take you down.
Right. This is the secret whole service. I had better cool the F out. And so I moved my car like they asked so that I wouldn't get arrested. And I watched him. And I watched him drive off. And there was a group of neighbors and stuff. People were standing outside. And I looked at this lady. I said, he no longer belongs to us. To your point, they are handling him. Mm-hmm. They are cutting his hair. They are tailoring his suits. They are telling him what to say. They are making sure that he has all his cliff notes. They are taking his glasses off. And what they're taking is a little bit of his heart. And that's the heart that the nation fell in love with.
They did that to Tim Pawlenty too. They made him they gave him a Southern accent. It was ridiculous.
No, but what I will say though about last night, so two things. One of the things that like I was reminded of last night with like the focus groups that the TV stations had, the snap polls. There's like a new snap poll Politico put out today that like independents had Tim Walz winning the debate at 58-42. Is that people who are really into politics and the pundits watch debates very differently than regular people do. I think he came in with like a lot of goodwill. Like I was because I was like focused on style points and all that sort of thing. The other thing about debates in this media landscape now is that the importance of the debate is the days after. It's the talking points after. And what is everyone talking about today is J.D. Vance's answer on January 6th. That's it. And
they don't remember nothing else.
And Tim Walz gave 3 fantastic answers. One was on abortion rights, one was on guns, and one was on January 6th.
Yeah.
That's like, as far as that, job done. That's what he needed to accomplish. And this morning, Kamala Harris already had an ad featuring the exchange about January 6th. So like just to say like, because I went to bed, like, because I had because we had done work to like, push him out or whatever. I was so I was nervous yesterday. Like it was my child going to be do a recital for the first time. Like I was sick and I didn't even know like why I was so anxious. Like it was like I was not I was just like being a bitch all day long and just being nasty and whatever. And I realized like when I went to bed, I was like, oh my God, I was so damn nervous about all this. And then in the morning, I was like able to like get and just seeing so much of the stuff being like that it's a wash, that it was like so much of the post debate, like the public's reaction was that it was like either even and some surprising things, which is I think all frankly what neither I think JD Vance went in. I fully expected that JD Vance was going to come in and going to be painting Minnesota as this hellscape. Oh yeah, and do what they did to Springfield, Ohio. There was a whole army of people ready responding to like how we attacks in the Somali community, but like there was a whole and like we didn't have to do nothing. No. Like, but I think and I'd like to hear your thoughts on this because I think JD Vance went in last night with a goal of improving his personal image.
Yeah. Okay, I think that's fair. And I think he did, and I won't speak for anyone else. I've said on this show many times, 2016 JD Vance was very interesting to me. He was a never Trumper. He called Trump out on things. 2022 JD Vance and 2024 JD Vance were not very interesting to me. Amy Koch and I, when back when Biden was still in, and it was looking like maybe Trump was going to pick Nikki Haley or someone like that. We were excited to see, is Trump going to pick somebody who can then be the next president and actually represent Republicans in a way that we prefer? And they picked Vance, and then it's like, oh, okay, it's business as usual. But last night, he did a lot to remind us of why he's not a complete buffoon and why he is. I mean, his answer on abortion is as good of an answer as a Republican has had in a long time. But what we found was, and this happened to Walz to a lesser extent, is JD Vance can say whatever he wants on abortion, on January 6th, on other things. But then what did Walz and what did the moderators do? They said, but Donald Trump said. And so it doesn't matter what JD Vance says, because he can repackage some of that stuff in a more palatable way. But then all they have to do is go to what Donald Trump said, and then you saw that JD Vance has two options: either disagree with the boss, which they're not going to do, or say that the boss is wrong, which he's not going to do.
I mean, I would take issue with some of what you're saying in that, like, so, like, I wrote this down last night when I was watching that JD Vance, like, I knew you and Amy would like what he said about abortion because he sounded exactly like you guys, because what he said was we need to earn back people's trust. Amy always says we have a real messaging problem with women. You don't have a messaging problem with women. You have a policy problem with women. Your policy position is unpopular, and it's not a matter of just packaging it up differently.
But if you package it up differently, you can trick people. That is the truth.
Yes,
that is the truth.
But that's my point. Like, just to be clear, that what's going on last night was he lied about like not having been for a national ban, a national abortion ban, and we know that like if there's a Republican trifecta, like this will be like when Amy was Senate Majority Leader, she personally did not want to put gay marriage on the ballot, but her caucus was very right on the issue, very far right on the issue, and had and that would be the same thing there. And he's like, so to me, like, he did a very good job at like pulling it, reminding himself that he's a Yale trained lawyer and all the things.
I saw more education last night. I saw more of a real person last night. Yeah. Less of a puppet. I saw that degree last night.
Yeah. I wonder how Trump is going to react to it.
Because
he's got good reviews.
Well, yeah, he did get good reviews, and that's probably the worst thing they can do.
I was going to say, he don't want nobody to outshine him. So
the only thing I will say is that we have unpopular opinions, but they're closely held beliefs. I'm not saying that like if we go to the suburbs that people are saying everything that Brian and Amy and JD Vance and other people like that believe is what I know that, but there are lots of people that have beliefs that aren't in the 51%, and that's okay. We're allowed to disagree, and it's the two options are either lie and pander, or try to explain why you believe what you do, and you're not always going to succeed.
Yeah,
We're not
but-
succeeding right now.
But on abortion, I think actually like that. I don't think that you guys can say what you actually think, because taken to its logical, like we have to do better messaging with women. Your position, as far as I know, was to make abortion illegal, and so and that's Amy's position. I think there has what I'm hearing and how you guys talk about abortion now is that you're actually rethinking that there, the exceptions, it's more in a frame of choice, but there's no language for it, and you'd be run out of your party.
Well, I mean, we won't make this the abortion episode because we've had them. But what I would say is that
we've had.
I sat home that day.
He missed. He skipped.
We made a business decision. But what I would say is I think I might be losing my point. Is that I believe that my position now is inconsistent. But it is more realistic and looking toward trying to get to bring empathy to a position that Republicans have not brought empathy toward, and I think that's one of the things that J.D. Vance succeeded in last night. He gave a much more empathetic opinion on it. And I think that until empathy is brought into the discussion, I mean, I'm just not going to accept all abortions all the time under any circumstances. I don't believe in that. I believe that there are rights that women have and there are rights that babies have, and that we do have a right to protect the unborn to a certain extent. That is not where American society is right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I can scream into the void about it, or I can try to be part of the people that say, okay, this is something where, you know what, people don't like this position, or at least a significant portion of people don't like this position. This is not the only position that I have. And Republicans are not going to get a chance to talk about the other things that make us Republicans if this is the only thing we talk about. And as long as Republicans sound jackassy on abortion, we're not, I mean, like today, are we talking about abortion, or are we talking about this, that, or the other? We're talking a little bit about abortion because Republicans sound jackassy on it.
Yeah. And to her point, Amy said you got to reframe the messaging, and that is absolutely true.
Yeah.
And whether we want to hear it or not, whether it is completely honest or not, you've got to decide where you're going to draw the line and which side of the line you're going to be on, and everybody get on board and toe the line. Right.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting where the party goes. I mean, I remember very clearly I remember the time when there were pro-life Democrats and pro-choice Republicans, and that's no longer
that's for everything. I mean, you have to fall in line, or you risk losing everything. You can't disagree with party leadership anymore. You can't cross the aisle to try and work and compromise with anybody. Otherwise, you're considered a traitor. It's not about the American people anymore. It's not about you. It's not about your neighborhood or your community. It is about power and control. Yeah. And we saw that with Dean Phillips. We saw it with anybody who ran afoul of President Trump. And it continues to happen until there's real change. And so I really appreciated the fact that somebody asked Kamala Harris if she was going to consider having a Republican cabinet member. And she said, I really like different opinions. So yeah, that sounds good. That's an idea I'm willing to consider.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
I think that, do you have a short spanker think, or should we just push them off?
I just have that song. So
okay.
What's spanker think? What the hell is going on here?
We close our show.
I was going to say, I don't do spankings. Y'all got this R. Kelly situation, this dog down here. Y'all been plying me with Liquor Puff Daddy and R. Kelly. We got the lights. You talking about spanker think? I'm not.
We are having liquor in the
fairness. We're not plying you with liquor. Right. You asked for liquor, and we complied.
That is the truth. And you brought me the good liquor, my local Grey Duck vodka. Thank you.
I've never had it before.
Really? It's smooth on. You like it?
It is nice. Yeah.
We got more.
Do you have a deal with them?
No, I do not.
Yes. Well,
I
should
don't.
get a
I
deal.
don't.
we
I
need to
don't-
get a
I
deal
don't-
with
You
it.
need to get a deal with them. I don't promote brands or companies that don't sponsor my podcast network.
That's what I.
Y'all
That's what I
need
meant.
to-
Yeah.
Y'all need to make sure that
Can
y'all
you
get
just
on
one more
the-
thing on on that, because you work your ass off.
I do work hard.
Like you is right, and so you opened by saying, because as a black woman in media, you know, like you can't have all your eggs in one basket.
Yeah.
You know, like, but can you just say, because I am astounded by all the spaces and different things that that you do.
Yeah.
And like Brian and I was saying before, is like this Sheletta is the most devoted brander. Like your brand is just something like.
You know,
Where'd you learn to do that?
I'm just a hustler. We're all hustling. You know, honestly, we all wake up every day and we hustle about what's today going to bring. How am I going to make it happen today? Where's that next big thing? How am I going to attach myself to that? How am I going to come up with this idea? Every morning I wake up, I pray for 3 things: creativity, connections, and resources. Now, you know, we could talk about Black Entrepreneurs Day. I had the creative idea, but I had to connect with Brian.
Right.
And then I had to find some companies to sponsor so I could have the resources to put it on. If you can get creativity, connections, and resources, anything is possible. And, you know, I tell people all the time, because I like to brag, I made $1 million last year. But you know what? That's not even a big deal, because if I was a white man, I would have made 10. Honestly.
You made $1 million doing what?
Podcasting, podcast commercials, podcast
Brian.
advertising, podcast
Brian.
sponsorships. It's 2 of y'all. Y'all should have made 2. If I made 1 by myself.
Because we have a white dude here,
And y'all should have made 10.
Yeah, we have not made anywhere near $1 million.
I don't know
do you
what's
mean, we?
wrong. He has pronoun troubles.
Yeah.
I, me, us, we. He got
I don't
pronoun
get $1 million
troubles.
out here, but I have an Emmy.
Emmy award-winning
I was like,
podcaster.
Sheletta, it's this man. When we first started this podcast, I like Brian. He's a friend.
He's awesome.
We became friends before, like we became friends through Words with Friends back when I was. Yeah, because we used the message
ago
function.
And so far away.
Yeah, and like he cracked me up, and it was just fun. So I had this idea for a podcast, and we did it. He drives me crazy often.
Yeah.
And I used to say to him, stop trying to be adorable while you're being racist.
He said, he said, stop making racism sound charming.
Yeah. So, so then when he came, he's like, I'm getting an Emmy. I'm like, oh my God, you're going to be insufferable.
So when we get it on October 19th, please make sure that it is on the show.
Okay.
It'll be right there.
Right here.
So
Right here in the middle.
I like this. We should get some local designers too. Do you have a hookup with local designers to do
I
your
do
out?
not.
To your
Somebody.
outfit?
Oh my God, you know somebody?
I do know.
Okay,
I
because
know
I don't have
perfectly. You know Samantha
anything-
Ray, who was on. I know someone who knows her, but she was on Project Runway.
Okay, well you need to hook it up because I don't have anything to wear.
Yes, we should hook you up on that.
Okay.
Jenny hasn't been able to find a dress yet.
Yeah, because I was
me
like,
and Jenny need to go dress shopping with Samantha Ray.
because you need to train.
I need some fabulous
I will carry your train behind you.
Yes, I have my kids are gonna be there. My boys got tuxedos.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice.
And my youngest son Daniel, who was a wanderer, who did not talk until he was 4.5 years old, and he is now running for student government, talking about politics. So he had his little speech all written up. He and his sister worked on, and he said in his speech, "If you vote for me, I'll be the first autistic person on the student council at Great Cloud Elementary School in Cottage Grove." So he says his little speech tomorrow. He's got it all memorized. We got a shirt because I'm extra. It says "Vote for me" on the shirt. She says, "Javier, help me." She knows you are just gonna be a hot mess. That Emmy is gonna take her place on the pillow. It really is.
That's Jenny said we're close. So I have dressed Minnesota's second gentleman, so I can. I've let's go. Come on. We
Okay, we out of time.
Here's what we're gonna do. We do plugs. We're gonna let you take our plug section, and then I'm gonna cede my spank and thank time to Javier, and then we're gonna get out. And I'll save mine
what
for
is the
next
plug
week.
about? You got to tell me what the plug is about.
Just
Well,
whatever.
no.
Where people can find you.
Okay. ShelettaMakesMeLaugh.com is where you can find me. I have 4 children's books about my babies with autism, and you can find those there, as well as is my Star Tribune columns are there. Anything that I'm doing, you see at the top it says Emmy winner. That's me with the Emmy. And I have 10 weekly podcasts, all hosted by amazing local Black subject experts, Dr. Verna Price, Lambers Fisher, Brandon Jones. Any and everything that I do is right there. We do podcasting, promotions, production, and publishing, and we try to do it through a culturally competent lens.
And you also had your radio shows?
I got WCCO Radio on Friday from 1 to 2 with Chad Hartman. And then on Saturdays, it's the Sheletta Show.
I love you on Chad Hartman because, I say this with love, Chad is a very white man.
Yes, he is so
and you
Anglo.
and so the two of you together is hilarious.
It's pretty funny. And then I have the Sheletta Show on Saturdays from noon to 3. And then I have Almanac on Friday nights. And you can find all that on
Are you on this Friday?
I am on this Friday. And I don't
As
have
am
a
I.
topic. Oh, okay. Okay. If y'all think of something funny, please let me know because I got to come up with something
Okay.
for the weekend.
All right.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Javier. You have your
just
spank?
one thank for the week. So this is my state rep Maria Isa Perez Vega released an anthem for the season. It is called "For the Girls and the Gays," and
Woo!
No shame. I do it for the girls and the gays. I do it for the girls and the gays. Hair toss, lip gloss, body suits, leotard, birthday suits. Take it off, ass fat, show it off. Hair toss, lip gloss, body suits, leotard, birthday suits. Take it off, ass fat, show it off. Do it for the girls and the gays. I live how I live. Do it for the girls and the gays. Do it for the girls and the gays.
nice.
Okay, Judy
That's a bop.
Seaberger gonna have to come with it because your state rep is
The rep.
making songs.
The rep who raps.
The rep who raps. Okay, so Judy Seaberger, girl, you're gonna have to get your game up. You're gonna have to start rapping or something.
Why aren't you in the video, Javier?
Huh? It's the movement heroes. I'm not, that was
You're a
Bayard
movement
Rustin. That was
hero.
Bayard Rustin.
There was room for you in
There
there.
was room for you. I saw.
Well, anyway,
I will tell Maurice. I'm going to see Maurice, and it'll be like the one critique my team had was.
well, because my friends win me Emmys.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow.
What your friends? What has she done for you lately?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
dun.
This went from a thank to a spank.
So anyway,
It's a bop for the girls and the gays. Look it up and wherever you get music.
with that,
Yes.
I am GOP strategist, and unlike Tim Walls, I am not friends with school shooters. Brian McDaniel.
I am Democratic strategist at the Puerto Rican Heat, Javier Murillo.
And I'm Sheletta Brundidge.
And
Both.
we are wrong about everything. Take us away,
Thank
Gabe.
you.